Hey, all right, thanks for joining us. My name is Steve Moseley. I'm with Solitude Aeturnus. I've been playing guitar with the band for, well, about 26 years or so. It's been a little while. We haven't done a whole lot lately, but we've got some great news for everybody, which is, of course, brand new website, brand new Facebook, brand new all kinds of social media stuff. But we're here to talk about quite a few different things, and we've touched on a few things so far. Right now, we're going to go over some fan mail. We got some letters and stuff from you guys out there, some of which we've addressed already. The next one, what is going on there, Kurt?
Well, let me tell you what's going on, Steve. We got a post from Mr. Will Bozarth, and he sent us a picture of a set list. It looks like from 2007. And he said he'd like to offer his image of the signed set list from Houston, Texas gig. And so he submitted that. And so would you like to tell us a little bit about that show? Do you remember that show, Steve?
That was a great show. And just like to start with, thank Will for sending that image to us. I'd like to take the opportunity to say that is absolutely 100% authentic. I can tell for several reasons. Not only is the multitude of different color markers indicated that it is original content, but that is my handwriting. So I've handwritten that set list myself, and as you can see, in this case, it's signed by everybody in the band. So that particular show, Houston, always a great time playing in our home state. Get down there, real nice, good, heavy show. Really appreciate all the fans. They were very accommodating fans there in Houston. What a great time we did have. Once again, thanks, Will, for saving that set list. Hopefully, it looks like you've got it in a plastic sleeve there. Hopefully, it stood the test of time so far, almost a couple of decades. Hopefully, it'll hold up for you. But thanks for sending that image. If it's okay, we'll put that on the website so others can see what was going on with that set list and what shows or songs we did at the show. And I think there's some notes on there about songs we didn't play, which we were slated to play. We'll talk about that some other time. Sometimes that happens when you're out there playing shows. You don't get to play all the songs that you wanted to play. But Kurt, what do you got next there? What is that?
All right, let me tell you, we got a comment. Actually, this was a comment on Facebook from Ken Wood. Says he's still holding out for a Downfall, or the hope for a Downfall remix and a remaster someday. He said he loves the album, but man, I wish he had that Solitude tone. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Ken. Thanks for the question. And we'd all love to have that remix and remaster of all of the albums, especially the first four. Unfortunately, it's a difficult process. Not only is it time-consuming, but very expensive. So, quite a few years back, I took the first four albums into the studio. Actually, in addition to the demos from the band, I took those into the studio with Gary Long at Nomad in Dallas, and I basically remastered from the stereo mix as best I could, and provided everybody with a little bit more volume and girth and depth and brilliance and low end and frequencies that just simply weren't there before, a little bit more clarity as best I could. So once again, not working with the original tracks, it's a little bit difficult, but the good news is we plan to do that. Perhaps in the future, going forward, we'd like to set up a crowdfunding and pull the original tracks, take them into the studio, and not just spend a couple of days, but weeks, and remix all those tracks and provide a brand new remaster, or what we like to say deluxe edition of that particular album, and a few others as well. So that's a long-winded answer, but we're looking forward to that. It's probably something that's going to happen. That album in particular has always had, John Perez says it best, if you've ever watched the Hour of Despair DVD we made in Poland, he cites that album as the worst we've ever done. But I think it's not because of the songs, it's because of the production. And that happens sometimes. So of all the albums I think that Solitude's done, and all the members, past and present, that have been in the band, I think we'd all agree. I'd hate to speak for everyone, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that would be the one album that we would love to really get in there and remix and remaster and put a deluxe edition.
So Steve, right now we don't have any big plans to do that particular album, but we do have something. You want to go ahead and announce that?
Well, yes, thanks, Kurt. So, you know, we've been working quite a while here in the studio. Once again, that's Blackout Recording Studio here with Kurt Joye and myself. Once again, Kurt Joye playing bass with Solitude Aeturnus for quite some time, many, many years ago. And we get in here as often as we can and you know, just remix and remaster and play around writing new songs and new tunes. As we mentioned before, you know, Robert Lowe has been in here with us quite a few times, you know, recording different things. But what we spent the last almost couple of years on, a little here, a little there. We all work regular jobs to support our families, so we don't have day in and day out each and every day of every week. But as much as possible, a few hours here, a few hours there, over the course of somewhere between 18 and 24 months, we have managed to come up with a deluxe edition of the Hour of Despair. So you've heard it here first that we will soon be providing the listeners with, and the viewers with, all new audio content for the Hour of Despair. So I've taken the original tracks from that show that we recorded in Poland so many years ago, and have remastered those and remixed those, and man, it came out great. So really looking forward to that. It's much heavier, much beefier, much more brilliant, and much more depth and girth and volume, and well, all those kinds of things you would look for in a remastered product. And it is just that. We did that in-house, so once again, it took us a while. Because of that, we didn't pay another studio. We did it in our own studio here. And it took, as I mentioned, quite some time. It was a great process. Because
we were doing it here, we had the ability to take our time. We weren't under the gun to get it done. So I think you guys are really going to be pleased with it. It sounds really, really good. We brought it into the modern day.
Yeah, and the great thing about that product is, you know, it's I think it's going to be representative of the entire catalog from Solitude. It contains songs from every album, and it encompasses you know, everything that Solitude was, you know, at that time. So we've got Steve Nichols on drums on that at that particular show, James Martin on bass, myself on guitar, John Perez on guitar, and of course Robert Lowe on vocals. That show in Poland was a great time for us. We had a real good relationship with the folks there, and everybody seemed to be very accepting and hospitable in regards to our time, our stay there in the beautiful country of Poland. So we're really looking forward to putting that out for you. Shouldn't be long. Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's going to be an independent release. We're going to do it on DistroKid, and initially it's going to come out all on all of the streaming media platforms, or streaming music platforms. So you should be able to pick that up on your favorite one, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, whatever it is. It'll be available on there. Please take a listen to it. I know you're going to really like it. It's really good stuff.
What else we got, Kurt?
Okay, moving on. On Facebook, we had Lynn Victory, and I don't have any idea how to pronounce that last name.
Gotcha.
You know how to pronounce that last name?
What is she asking?
Okay. Ask who is running the Facebook.
Well, I'll let you answer that.
Well,
Kurt.
that would be me. Easy for me to say. You know, I'm the IT guy. I'm the go-to guy on that kind of stuff, and so I've been working on that. Hopefully, I've been doing a good job for you guys. You know, we've got a lot of really really, really unique items that we're focusing on, old flyers, old pictures, different things to bring us back to Solitude Origins. Today, as a matter of fact, I think I posted a flyer from Solitude's second gig ever, first in Dallas-Fort Worth area. So please take a look at the website. Please take a look at the Facebook page. You'll see it there. We're getting input from Rob Lowe. We're getting input from John Perez on all the memorabilia. You'll see on some of those posts, well, John will actually has made comments. Now, he's not using his Facebook page to make comments, but he is making those comments that I say are John Perez. They are John Perez's comments. So please keep an eye on it. We're really working hard to make something good for you. We appreciate you coming out to the site. It's growing. We want it to continue to grow. That is where you're going to find all of the information about Solitude Origins, about what's going on with us, where you're going to see these podcasts, where you're going to see all the new music, where you're going to see all of the origins of Solitude. So thanks again.
Yep. And we'll also be having some guests in the future. And those guests, will certainly include not only Robert Lowe and John Perez, but I'm working to get James out here and perhaps Nichols as well.
So, okay, we got another one here from Facebook. It's posted by William Lusby. And he's asking, will you be selling remastered CDs? Which we kind of already answered that question already. He's saying his is super scratched after the years.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that a little bit more. So, we mentioned previously about remastering some of the products. That's a long process for us. We're not taking it to a studio and we're not paying a bunch of other people. We're doing it ourselves. We want it done right. We want to keep our ears on it the whole time, and not just point and say, yeah, that sounds good, but actually go through the motions of making those adjustments and those tweaks and those refinements ourselves to the product. So the answer to that question is we very much are looking forward to providing remastered and remixed and deluxe edition products or editions of all those products, all the past albums, all the past recordings, and those will include outtakes and alternate takes and versions with different band members that have come and gone over the years, but more importantly, how that's going to come about. We have a few options, but most likely some of those older recordings will require some crowdfunding, and it just simply isn't cheap to do all of that. So what we can do is provide print-on-demand type products, and that's pretty common nowadays, but we're pretty picky in particular, I guess, about the quality of the products that goes out. Not only just the sound and the look, but the layout, the format, and there's a lot of other things to consider. So as we going forward begin to test or proof, if you will, some of the different print-on-demand services that are out there, we'll find the one that's right. And when we do, we'll begin to release some of those products that way. And then deluxe editions that have 10-page fold-out thingies and posters and signed stickers and whatever other memorabilia and things like that. That's obviously going to require some crowdfunding in order to put all of those kinds of products together. So that's a twofold answer. We'll be doing a little bit of both. We'll be offering the tracks to begin with, obviously directly from us, but also on all the popular streaming sites. But then, as I mentioned, print on demand, and then hopefully eventually deluxe editions with physical products that contain much more than what you can get from a print on demand.
All right, we got one last one, Steve.
Yep.
We've got fan Michael, and he is he says in there, around my neck for years now, and it is the Solitude Aeturnus logo, the original logo, made into a necklace, a silver necklace. And I have one of those. I know you have one as well.
Yeah.
And would you like to tell a little bit of story how those came about?
Yes. So we were interesting story. We were playing I believe it was Thessaloniki in Greece quite a few years ago. And a young gentleman had approached us, and he was very enthusiastic and excited about this particular item that he had, which was these silver necklaces that were forged in an old school, old world type of way that he had learned from his father's father's father, I believe, was how the story went. So he was a silversmith and had pressed and manufactured these necklaces, and I'm not sure how many he had, maybe a dozen or more, maybe more. And he had all those ready, and when we arrived, he introduced himself and told us the story about the necklaces, and graciously gave us each band member, one of the necklaces that he had made. And it's kind of a sad story because we had to inform him that that's really not proper to manufacture those types of things, with that represent the band, and then sell that at the venue where we're playing without our consent. So we gave him permission. We thought he was a great guy, really cool, and he had done some great work, and they were just really amazing looking necklaces. And so we gave our blessing. I say we, primarily John Perez had given his blessing with all of us in agreement, and he proceeded to sell those necklaces there at that show. So if you got one of those necklaces, it was most likely either from that show or indirectly that someone had gotten from that show and resold it over the internet. I don't think there's any second pressings or printings of those necklaces. It was just a single run that the guy had made, to my knowledge. But it is somewhat of a collector's item, that particular necklace, once again being...
I did see one on eBay.
You did?
There is one on eBay that I saw.
So that's interesting. Once again, they are certainly rare, handmade, old school style, old world silversmith techniques. As I mentioned, originating originally from, I believe it was either Thessaloniki or Athens, Greece, one of the two. So that's the story behind that.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out and watching our podcast. This is the first one we're doing. We want to thank you. Come back here to Solitude Origins. We're going to do these on a regular basis. That is our plan. We want to communicate with you and tell you what's going on with Solitude.
Yep. Thanks again. Stay heavy.